Yeah, I grew up in the South Bronx. Everything is confrontational. Everything, bro.
That should be on the plaque. When you enter the Bronx, it should say, "Welcome to the Bronx." Everything is confrontational.
Everything is confrontational.
Let's talk about fatherhood. Tell us about, your kids, the dynamic, all that stuff.
We have a 15, about to be a 16-year-old boy, C, doing amazing things. To see his growth has been like really, really good. And when I stepped into his life, I don't even like using the term stepson. Obviously his dad is an amazing man himself, but I stepped into his life super early, probably a year and a half, 2 years old. So been with him since the beginning. So to see his maturation has been something amazing. And then we have a daughter, Chubbs. And there's always, for all dads, with C was here when I met him. Mm-hmm. With dads though, there's always that birth part where you're in the room and you're like, it's like a light bulb goes off or a switch goes off, like everything changes. There was responsibility in the beginning. Right. With the second child though, it was just like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like when your grandmother would say, "I'm never not worried about you." I didn't understand that until I actually saw it come out. And I almost passed out in the room too, but that's another story for another day. That was crazy.
No, I love that. We have very similar paths. So my oldest son, he'll be 20 in a few days now. Wow. He's my wife's son, and I've been in his life, all his life, but I stepped into the role of a stepfather when he was about 2 years old. Yeah. And he has a great relationship with his biological father. So talk about that dynamic, because for me, it took me some time trying to, double dutch my way in and see, what my role would be in his life. How was your transition?
Yeah, I grew up in the South Bronx. Everything is confrontational. Everything, bro. From the moment you walk outside the door, everything is confrontational.
That should be on the plaque. When you enter the Bronx, it should say, "Welcome to the Bronx." Everything is confrontational.
Everything is confrontational. So it was similar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was aware of the relationship. I didn't want to overstep.
Same.
When it came to, I try to put myself in his shoes. You have a new child under 3 years old. The relationship has stopped. The child's mother is moving on with someone else. I'd be pissed. I'd be, a little angry. I'd be a little bitter. Right. And I don't know what he was, but I just know I was trying to be as, how can I put it, man? Accommodating. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
I wanted to be open, understanding,
right.
And it wasn't like he didn't talk in the beginning, but it was just like there was some standoffish type of activity, and so a lot of times, man, I would just try to put myself in his shoes, and then it got to a point where I was like, I don't know if we can curse or anything, but in my mind, I was just like, then fuck it, man. You know what I'm saying? If that's how you want to be, that's how you want to be.
Right.
It's not going to stop me in the relationship I am with, the kid's mom. And eventually that kind of broke down a little bit. And I think that was, again, as a man, you just don't know who this person is. Right. With your child. You know what I'm saying? Your child, and there was a part where they had moved from down south up here to New York. You're not with your son. So I always try to put myself in those shoes. And I would like to say over the years, man, there was a period of where trust was built up, or at least I would like to think, you're a good dude. All right, cool. Right. I may have been a little bit too much too early, where I was just like, hey man, if you need to talk to me. And then I thought about it. I was like, damn, it's like dead presidents. That scene is like, I feel like Cuddy now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not good, bro. Right. Like, you might have said too much. Right. And then it's like, again, it's still fresh. Like, who are you to go ahead and tell me if I need to call you? Who the fuck is you? Like, why would I call you? And, just if I'm being totally honest, it took some time, but I had to step back a little bit so we can move forward. And now, when we see each other, there's the dap, there's the embrace.
Dope.
There's the ability to have a meal together, laugh and joke.
Word.
I want to say recently we were at a basketball tournament for C, and I think we both got drunk at the same time. I don't really drink too much anymore, but it was one of those, like, you could just see the women, they were looking at us like, the hell is going on? Like, what's up? What is this? But I would think when you're talking about blended families or, situations which everybody goes through nowadays, it's like that's where you want to get to. And I think that was something, that's something I'm definitely proud of over these last 15 going into 16 years.
Word. So talk about your relationship with Chubbs. First of all, where did that name come from?
She was chubby, which was crazy because, we're both slim. So I was like, how is she so damn chubby? Right? And it just stuck.
That's dope. And how old is she now?
She is 12. She's 12, about to be 13 this summer.
What are some of the ways that you are, like, fostering your relationship with her? I feel like I only have boys. I have 3 sons. But I had 2 sisters growing up, which is why I prayed so hard never to have daughters. And I only got sons. But, like, I know that at that age, they're very much way more mature than boys are. So, they sometimes are, like, zero focused on what they want and what they have going on. So it could be hard to kind of figure your way into the mix. So how are you, building that relationship?
I try to have soft eyes. I'm intent in just kind of trying to pick up every little thing. And we need to take her to Vegas or Atlantic City because she could be a poker player sometimes.
Oh, word. Yeah, man.
Yeah. She could be that. And
no tells, huh?
No. And in other times, she wears it on her sleeve. So it's like, again, it's in real time. And I just try to be I just do my best to hear and see and watch and observe.
Word.
And if I have a question, I try to think of ways to open up that conversation without it sounding like I'm a detective or something,
Yeah, man. I think that's ill. I feel like that's why I try to stress to dads out there the importance of being present fathers, because there's a misconception with a lot of guys. It's like, well, if I'm taking care of them financially and they're in a good spot with their mom, or where they're in a good home or taken care of, that I'm doing my job. But there's things that you sense energetically with your kids that you, if you're not physically present, that you would never kind of pick up on. You know what I mean? Like, and knowing that something's wrong, even though they're stone-faced and not showing you that something's wrong, you can only pick up on those things from being around them enough when they are okay. And you feel the way they are when they're, just living life, happy-go-lucky kids. And then you feel it when something's bothering them that they're not being so forthcoming with. You know what I'm saying?
It's an interesting, you saying that, like right now, we're going through a change within, our relationship, me and their mom, where we're not together anymore. And there's been a point where it's like, even for me, it's hard to be around them because honestly, constantly I have just thoughts in my mind. This is, I never really thought about marriage early on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that it was a bad word. It was just something like, I don't see that for me.
Right.
And when you do it, now there's like, this is forever for me. But, you have to work at that every day.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah. It's like working triple shifts.
Thanks.
Right?
Word.
And that's not a bad thing. It's just like, you have to pay attention to that. And our relationship has changed. So not being around the kids every day is something where it's like, actually their mom just got on me like, yo, you need to be around more. Where it's like, yo, you're trying to work more to get to where you feel like you need to be financially, but just as much as you have to put that time and effort into the kids. And it's a difficult balance at times, because sometimes I'm a big believer, sometimes you need that time for yourself as well. Absolutely. To pour into it, no matter what it is. It could be meditation, it could be something, sports-wise, something that kind of gets your mind where you're aligned the right way. But I agree with you. Like, you got to be around to kind of see it. So that right now is one of my biggest things that I want to make sure that I'm doing and achieving properly.
Right. I want to wrap this up getting some advice from you. Your stepfather journey, your girl dad. What is some advice? Let's go one at a time. What's some advice that you wish you had, when you stepped into the role of a stepfather?
That's a good question, man. Because it's while it's subjective, because you don't know what
the circumstances.
Yeah, and you don't know the energy that's coming from that other side. Be open.
Oh, I like that.
Like, be open. I remember my OG asked me a question one time. He's like, "Yeah, why are you so quiet?" And I told him, I was like, "How is somebody going to listen or hear you?" You feel me? Like, it's like, how, and I know it might go over a couple people's heads, but the more I listened in sales, they call it probing. You ask a question, you listening, like, yo, I need that. Let me pick out this thing, because this is what's telling me what I really need to know.
I'm looking for an input. Right.
I want to know what's your pain point.
Right.
What's the issue? Does this even match up?
Right.
Should we move forward? That type of stuff. Just be open to listening. Open to listening, and you want to be supportive to your partner, but also know that might be a biased.
Talk about it.
It may be a biased view, and I'm not saying that with my kid's mom, but obviously she was hurt in a lot of different ways. I'm sure he was hurt in a lot of different ways, and they weren't agreeing and stuff like that. So be supportive, but be open.
Yeah, man. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, girl dads.
Girl dad wise, man. The hardest thing is that, being out of the house, not being with her, at home 24/7, is that, it's that part where, I looked at it like levels with both of them. Like, you got to I definitely got to put my daughter on to, like, the fuck shit that dudes do.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying? And like how this works and try to figure it out. And that's still going to happen. It's just, just be, when I say this, I don't mean it in a bad way, but just be soft with your daughters. Don't rush them. You know what I'm saying? Be very real with them, but be soft with your daughters, man, because it's a hard world out there. Teach them real life lessons. Let them know, like, this, not everything is going to be fair, and everything isn't going to go and get your way. I say it to them all the time. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And whether that's negotiating an extra chocolate milk with your, at school with the lunch lady, or that's that new, deal coming out of the college, going into the workforce. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. Wow. But just be very intent on listening to your children. Be intent listening to your daughter. There's a lot of things that are going on in the world. I just want to make sure not only her, but both of them are prepared for it.
Word.
Yeah.